Welcome guys. So we in next in this video we will be what we are doing, like we are seeing what is embedding vector database and how we are storing data into vector database, and then querying using vector search. So we have seen all the concept that we are going to use to create an RAG application in MonStack, and it is created for an queues application which has some user database, some quiz, and there are the attempts that user had made. So we had created a RAG. Basically we stored those data into a vector store. So the problem that is come into mind, that how we will be generating the your vector embedding. So for that we have already discussed, we had LLM. So we can check LLM for embeddings. So it will give us the some embedding. Let's check for generative Google generative AI. So we are using it. So let's search for it. So we get the embedding. Let's check. Gemini offers text embedding model to generate embedding for words, phrase, and sentence. Okay, so this will help. So what we did, when a document is like get saved, before that we have one method called prehooks in MongoDB. We will convert those values or the data that is given while saving to the create embedding function. That is basically a function which is similar to, I think we had created some embedding here, so maybe here, yeah. So what we did, we had imported LangChain generative AI and then creating an embedding, and then we are passing into embedding query. Okay, and it will be creating our embedding. Okay, so this will help you in creating embedding. Once new queue is added, we had also added the auto generated vector data store into our MongoDB. Okay, so now the server logic, what could be my server logic? So once the user enter their query, let's say I had one here, so I had like this API endpoint, and users enters the query and he hits the enter, what happens behind the scene. So let's understand that part. So first part is that we had to like store the data in vector store. Okay, next part is we had to again use this function, what we create embedding, so that we can create embedding of our uh, query that we are trying to search. Okay, so what admin had queues, node backend creates embedding, store into MongoDB. Okay, so again here user chats query, embedding generated. Now the vector search is done on the MongoDB, and the relevant data will be returned, and those relevant data again passed to the LLM, and then those data will be returned to the so once the relevant queues return from the vector search, it is passed to the LLM, and then response will be returned to the user. So we had already covered the vector search index, so we need to create the index for the vector search, and I guess we can use also the OpenAI endpoint, so we can do that also, or we can use the some library as well. Okay, yes, now we had to query. Okay, so I had created one API that is taking your query, and then we creating the embedding. Okay, so creating embedding using query, and we are passing query, and this is same function that is converting your text, that is pre-saving your uh, document that you are trying to save onto your MongoDB. Okay, so similarly we are doing here creation of embedding, and then we are searching for the quiz. Okay, and we are using aggregation pipeline for it. So similarly we will be doing it on our code base, and we are passing those results into the LLM for chat style message. So basically it will take your response and provide the context or prompt that you had given. Based on that, LLM give you the response. Okay, and the important notes: we should not include IDs in your response and any value which is sensitive in your database. So we need to filter out those values. Okay, and the overall summary will be that key user will be query and it's converted into an embedding vector. Then it search on the vector store that we had stored in the MongoDB, and then fetches the docs. Once the data is fetched, it is passed to the LLM that convert those documents plus the prompt provided by the user query, and then response given to the user that we see on the chat. So the basic workflow is this. Let me show you the code snippet that I had created. So the one function is for creating for connecting to your database, obviously. Then we have this library that is helping us to what we call generating embedding, and also the LLM. Okay, so one function is there that is perform vector search. I had already inserted data into the MongoDB using the preset, so you can check how you want to store your data into your system. So we can go and check how we want to like store data into the MongoDB. Okay, so assume we have stored, so we created one function. So basically it is the same thing doing, it is generating or embedding, and then those embedding will be passed to the passed with the your query text that is passed. And then the we had like pipelines, and then we simply aggregates and pipeline, we passes the fetch, and the data will be returned. And once this data will be returned, it will be passed to generate answer with the LLM. So based on that result and the query that user has provided, we will generate the response, and then response will be shown to the user. Okay, so for generating answer with the LLM, we have Google service, we have some API key, and then generative model, we are using model generative AI 2.5 flash. Okay, and then we had just iterated over the results, and we provided some prompts. Based on that, we are getting some outputs. Okay, let's try to run it and then understand. So I will be running this script, and then we will see how things will be solved. Okay, I think it should work. Just wait. So it is taking time, maybe uh, yeah, so you know that this is taking time, so we need to like optimize while creating your LLM. We need to think of optimization and real world cases. So we will be seeing those part in next video. Okay, how we will optimize when we query. It will be taking some time to return you the output. Okay, so we had queried something, I guess. Yeah, so how many users are there, what channel exists. So it found out the user one is based on the information provided, detail of the user appears to be listed 3 times. Okay, so these are the details that are returned from your MongoDB. Okay, so yeah, the thing, yeah, it's not that here we have some ideas, so we need to like optimize how we provided, or how we save the data into MongoDB store. We do not need to expose this ID to the LLM or RAG applications. Okay, I think we had all covered most of the part, and I will be providing this code snippet to you guys so that you can use it when you need it. Okay, so I will be creating it maybe. Okay, so we had covered most of the part, I guess. Let's scroll it down and check. Yeah, so I had covered everything. If you have any questions, you can like ping me or comment it down. So I will be explaining more about RAG based application. So we had basically used the vector store. We created an embedding, how LLM works, and then we provided some data source which are our database. Okay. So basically we do some user query. It creates a embedding generation that is using LLM, and then it stored it to a vectors database, and then we provide some context. Based on that we get the response. Okay. So I guess this is like the we had one API. So let me show you the API as well. So we had one API that is created, and once we click this will give you the response. Okay. I will be showing you some services. Okay. So see, I have created one service that is doing similarly thing, generating diagram, leave it, generating answer. So we had similarly function generate LLM with the answer using the same model, but we had like a given prompt in the answer we wanted to give by the chat. Okay. So I guess this is all for this video. In next video we will be seeing optimization. You had noticed when I had run, it takes some time to execute. So I know just if you run application which is heavy on CPU side and takes time to execute, it will block your other API endpoint. So we need to optimize it. So we will discuss it in that video. Okay, thank you. Bye.